Today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite meals to prepare, fried pork chops with mashed potatoes and gravy. So you're going to start by setting up your pans. You're going to fill a larger saucepan halfway full of water, put it on high, we need it to boil for the mashed potatoes. Then you're going to put about a half an inch of oil in your skillet and put it on a medium heat. That'll be used to fry your pork chops. Now you're going to prepare your breading procedure. I use 2 small baking dishes and I'm going to put a cup of flour in the first one. To that you're going to add a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon pepper, and another half teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. Now just stir that all together. Then in your other one, you're going to add an egg and a couple tablespoons of milk. Then whisk that all together. Now you're ready to bread your pork chops. They go into the flour first. Now while I have them in the flour, I generally poke them with the fork just as a way to tenderize them. Then coat them in your egg and milk mixture. Then back into the flour. To check and see if your oil is ready for the pork chops, you can just take a little bit of the flour, put it in. If it starts to sizzle, then you're good to go. If it like burns up, it's too hot, and if it just sits there, then it's not warm enough. Mine's pretty close, so I'm gonna go for it. Now you can go ahead and bread how many ever pork chops you need to prepare. This is a good amount for 4 pork chops. This setup works great for any type of pork chops. I'm using bone-in pork chops today, but I've also used thin-cut pork chops or even tenderloins. Once you have them all breaded and you have your first 2 in, just let them cook for 5 to 10 minutes on each side, depending on how thick they are. Then get everything cleaned up so you can begin your mashed potatoes. When making any potato dish, I generally go by 1 potato per person. Now, if you have really big potatoes, then you might not need as many. If you have smaller potatoes, you might need a few more. So you're going to peel, chop, and then they need to go into boiling water for mashed potatoes at least 10 minutes to get them really nice and soft. Since your pork chops are cooking, then you have time to go ahead and get another side ready. Today I'm going to do steamed broccoli. All you do is cut up the broccoli, put it into a saucepan with a little bit of water, and then get that water boiling, put the lid on, and let it steam until everything else is ready. If you have a meat thermometer, I would encourage you to check the temperature of your pork chops. Now that I've got my second round of pork chops in the skillet and my potatoes have boiled for 10 minutes, I'm ready to strain and mash them. them in the same saucepan keeps them warm and makes cleanup easier. Make sure to mash your potatoes before you add any other ingredients, so mash them really good. Once they're mashed really well, you can add your butter. Depending on how many potatoes you use, you're going to use a half a stick to a full stick. Once that's melted, you can add enough milk just to start to make it look really creamy. Then add salt and pepper to taste. Now this can just go right back on your warm stove top until you're ready to serve. When your pork chops are done, just let them sit on a paper towel lined plate until you're ready to eat. Once they're all completed cooking, you're ready to make your gravy. What you're going to do is pour all of that grease into a coffee cup or some other bowl that it will all fit into. Turn your heat down a little, and then you're going to measure 2 tablespoons flour, 2 tablespoons oil. You're going to let that cook in your skillet for a little bit. Then you're going to add 1 cup of milk. What you're doing is you're making a roux, which is gravy, and it's delicious. Cup 2 tablespoons of oil. Put that back in the skillet, add the flour, and then use my whisk to let that cook. Once your flour and oil have cooked together for a little bit, you're going to add 1 cup of milk and then continue to stir and let it bubble until it's all looking really like gravy. Now that's one yummy meal. I hope you make it at home and enjoy!